Everybody, thank you so much for coming and spending time here, whether it's been 10 minutes or 10 hours or more or less or somewhere in between or multiple times in. Um, Carmen and Ivory and Luke, just a great appreciation for you all being here and with such great spirits and strength. Um, Carmen is a mini Terry. Like she's highly prepared, Terry, just so you know. Like Carmen is way prepared, okay?
That's the best.
And just all of you. I don't think Luke is here right now, right? But great gratitude on my part for this. When we decided to do this, one of the 2 weeks from now is the symposium that all three of you will be at with Dr. Terry and the rest of the Institute. And there was no way for us as an entity at the Institute for Common Power to really engage all of our staff to be part of this. And I wasn't looking for that. This was going to be just a kind of like low budget production. And it's been really great. And you three stepping up to work with me on this has been terrific. And I did this I wanted to do this because the teach-in last year was just so meaningful for us and for our larger mission. And this wasn't a teach-in per se, but it certainly had a lot of teaching in it, certainly a lot of education, a lot of community. So I'm committed to trying to have us do a 24-hour thing each summer. And we already have in mind what it will be for next year. But really just grateful. Dr. Terry's been great. As always, thanks for making time coming in. Your energy is great. And of course, your leadership is incredible. So my goal in having something for 24 hours of hope and determination is because I've been through 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 8, 12, 16, 20, 4 presidential elections. I've been through them. I've been through more of those in my lifetime, but I've been through 4 of them in which the level of my general public engagement has been such that I functioned in a way where I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to think about them. I'm offering analyses, which I really enjoy to try to figure things out. And also people have come to kind of like, in some cases, seek that information or perspective. And I know that the roller coaster of the elections is really challenging. Okay. It's really challenging. And we are in the midst of the triple, double corkscrew right now, okay, of this election. The last 96 hours from the debate through the Chevron Supreme Court decision, through the Supreme Court's decision about presidential immunity, is a really challenging space. Really challenging and hard, and it's not easy to see where we're going and what we're doing. So I want to end this time with us together by just telling you candidly where I'm at in my thinking, all under the banner of hope and determination. And it's my thinking has been evolving during this time together because of some of the stuff that we have talked about and I've heard and listened and thought about, because I'm always paying attention to kind of what elected officials and strategists and voters and candidates are doing. And so this last session is titled "How the Democrats Win in 2024." Here's the truth right now. I'm not sure the Democrats are going to win in 2024. I don't know. I don't know. We're in a very complicated space and time. I know how we're going to win in 2024 as citizens and as a community. I can be certain of that. But we can never guarantee political outcomes. Sometimes I can be more confident than others, but we can never guarantee them. I learned that, and the value of not guaranteeing what you can't guarantee, not promising what you can't guarantee. I learned that in 2016 when my wife and I were so opposed to a Trump victory and supporting a Hillary Clinton. We're so opposed to him winning and supporting a potential Hillary Clinton victory that we talked about the campaign always not as a foregone conclusion, but just as a level of like this it's gonna, Trump's not gonna win. Because we wanted to not get our young child, who was 9 at the time, too upset. Because he would hear it and take cues from us. And then Trump won. And I remember our son crying vigorously on election night, not because he's going to be deeply affected by this. He has so many privileges like we do. But because it just seemed unfathomable, and he knew that it wasn't good, and he had no frames of reference for bad things and getting through bad things. He just didn't have frames of like, we're going to get through them. And he said to me as he was crying, you promised me this wasn't going to happen. And I did. I had. And I decided there and then that I would never make a promise that I couldn't keep. And like, that's pretty much everyone in politics. You can't guarantee it. But I did know that I could make a promise to do as much as I could to advance a better democracy, a more inclusive democracy. And that's what I've done. That's what I've been committed to. And that's what I will stay committed to. There's no blip in that. There's no speed bump there. I'm determined there. And Common Power is part of that work. Honored to work with a Dr. Terry and a Larcy Douglas and a Charles Douglas on this work. And so many other colleagues. And so we will work. We will continue to work. We will run through the tape, to use a running metaphor. We will run all the way through the tape in this election. But there are no guarantees, because I can't guarantee Joe Biden's health, because we can't guarantee what the Supreme Court does, because we can't guarantee that there won't be an insurrection or violence. There's just so many unguaranteeable pieces. And I would say today that the odds of Joe Biden being the Democratic nominee are 50-50 at best. 50-50. That's not under my control, though. I'm not losing sleep thinking about that. That's not under my control. It's one of those things, again, you can't guarantee yes or no. All the respect in the world for this man and the presidency he's had. But they, as a campaign and as a set of kind of leaders, have made some choices that are really questionable and difficult right now. That's the truthfulness of it all. And whoever's the nominee that is running against Trump, I'm going to support with everything we've got. But I don't know if it's going to be Joe Biden. I think we'll find out in the next 2 weeks, next 10 days. I think the momentum is moving against him right now. I think the momentum is moving against him. And it doesn't matter to me who it is. I want a chance to win. I want a chance to go with everything we've got. So with all of these unknowns, so much in an unprecedented unknown situation with the candidate of the party so close to the convention, with all of these unknowns, I don't know if the Democrats are going to win in 2024. I don't know who's going to win the presidency. I don't know who's going to win the Senate. I don't know who's going to win the House. If I was going to bet on any of these today, I would bet on the Democrats winning the House. I would bet on the Democrats losing the presidency. And I would bet on the Democrats losing the Senate. But the Senate would be a toss-up. Be very, very close, one way or another. But those are just bets today. In the middle of this flux, this triple, double corkscrew move that we're in right now, I'd make no bets. There's too much in movement. So this hope and determination can't then lie. It cannot lie for us in victory in these races. It cannot. Because we can't control that. We can give it everything we've got, and yet we still cannot control it. And such is life most of the time. And I'm struck by Dr. Bernard Lafayette, who joined us at the beginning of these 50 hours, these 24 hours of hope and determination, talking about he finds hope in knowing that all of the challenges, everything he has spent his life working against to try to change, is temporary. Temporary. That what's permanent is the work we do to try to build a better world, what some people will call a beloved community. And what we at Common Power commit to is a more just and inclusive democracy. So that's what we're committed to. And you see, I don't know if we're going to win the elections, but I am certain that we are winning in that endeavor. I'm certain of that. This Zoom room, and it has been for 24 hours, captures that. Dr. Terry's in Maryland. I'm in Seattle. I'm just going across the screen here. Ivory's in Columbus. Karen is in Madison, Wisconsin. Clock is everywhere. All right. I'm not sure where Nikki is. Okay. Helen, don't know. Maybe in Seattle area. Carmen's in New York. And then I'm going to run out of places. I know Meg's in Hawaii. All right. Deborah is in England somewhere, all right? Celestria is in Selma. Simone is in New York, and on it goes. And that's just geographically where we live. Then you layer over the more visible dimensions of age and race and gender. So Common Power is an idea to bring people together across racial and generational differences to work for a more just and inclusive democracy. And we're doing that. We're doing it through education, through leadership development, and through voter fieldwork and advocacy. And our goal ultimately is to pass a new Voting Rights Act. And we just might win all of these elections this fall and be on the cusp of passing a new Voting Rights Act and codifying Roe v. Wade. We just might. But we also might not be. So I think for us, the calling to us at this time is to understand that winning is defined not only in election outcomes, but in the impact we make along the way. The further together that we have. And when I think about it that way, I can't imagine a better place to be. So how Democrats are going to win in 2024 is actually if we understand that this election is super important, and it also is not the end for any of us. It's not. Our mission, our vision, our commitments, all of them are bigger than this moment. They have to be. They have to be because Frederick Douglass's was. They have to be because Diane Nash's have been. Because Bernard Lafayette's have been. They have to be. And we can't give people hope, but we can try to practice it by being intentional. I talked about myself. One of my intentional ways of trying to live out hope is to be what I call an inspiration chaser, finding places to be inspired, finding people that inspire, and then attaching myself to learn from them, to be around them, to be in that environment. We have to be intentional about that this election, because there's too many unknowns and there's too many possible really bad things. So the truth, in my perspective right now, is the way we win in 2024 is by committing to beyond this election. We are committing to beyond this election. And that's where our eyes have to be. Our eyes have to be. Now, if Joe Biden's not the nominee, or if Joe Biden is the nominee, I'm going to work relentlessly. I'm going to give it everything we've got. Everybody I know that works at Common Power is all in. All of you donors and supporters and volunteers, I know our lives are at stake. Bodies are at stake. Healthcare is at stake. It's monumentally important. And so my commitment, our guarantee, our promise, our hope and determination must be in that we will pursue in community with everything we've got for ourselves and for those who've come before us and those who've come after us. And we will wake up the day after the election and we will continue. We will be in this together. And you see, I didn't have that. I don't know about all of you, but I didn't have that in 2016. That wasn't there. Common Power wasn't around. Maybe you had all those commitments and all those relationships. But this has been built since then. Okay? And you teachers, you know, the thing about teachers is we believe. We really believe. We really, really believe. All right? And so I believe fundamentally in the power of who we are and what we are. And what we can do and what we will do. And I can be very, very excited about the next 4 months about possibilities. But right now, we're in that corkscrew. And I'm just trying to hold on till some further clarity comes. And here's the ask that I have of every one of you, that every one of us will make that commitment to go through the rest of this ride in community here or elsewhere with our time and our treasure, and that we're going to come out the other side and we're going to look around like coming up from being submerged in the water. You're going to come up out of the water, shake your head, look around, and we're going to see each other. If we do that, we win. If we do that, we win. Dr. Terry Ann Scott can tell us a long list of Supreme Court decisions that have fundamentally been disasters. And some lasted as disasters a long time. All right. It's possible that this immunity decision is going to be the equivalent of a Dred Scott decision. All right. It's possible. But I don't know. What I do know is that what we can do together is link arms and be in this together. As we say on our learning tours, we can stand shoulder to shoulder together. And there will be pain and there will be sadness and there will be fear, but we will not be alone. So that's the end of me kind of laying it out for where I'm at. Very honest with you about where I'm at, about the sensibility, about where we are in this moment. I really don't know. I do know that Common Power is built for this, though. That we are built for this. We are built for this with the leadership we have. We are built for this with the people that are here. We are built for this because of our supporters. And so it's as good a situation as we could be in for this moment. And if we do win, it's going to be so damn epic because of what we're going to have overcome to get there, this election. And we're going to be able to hold back the torrents of some of the Supreme Court if we do win. So it's the most noble endeavor I could think of in our civic space to pursue this moment, this time. It's as noble as those people who fought for civil rights during the terror of lynching. It's as noble as people who fought for women's suffrage when others said women should not even be heard in the public sphere. It's as noble as those at Stonewall in New York City who said no more. This is our moment. This is our time. We got to do this together. And we will. Because I know who Charles Douglas is. And I know who Marcy Douglas is. And I know who Dr. Terry Ann Scott is. And I'm getting to know even more on a daily basis who Ivory Kennedy and Carmen Cruz and Luke Michener are. So we got to be in it. We got to win by being in today and tomorrow. And once I release myself from the attempt to control something that I cannot control, I can actually lean in and treasure this more. Because we can't control that outcome. We can't. What we can do is be in this together. That takes intentionality. It takes hope. It takes a determination. It takes us together. So what I want to do to finish this up, Dr. Terry and I do a lot of calls, Zoom calls, with people who are going to take a learning tour trip with us. And it's part of building community. It's part of being honest with one another. And we have a kind of a prompt that we ask people to share. And in that prompt, we say, I'm going to finish this sentence. We say, we ask people to finish this sentence. I'm joining this trip, or I'm going on this trip because. And it's whatever you want to say, because. That's the choice each of us makes about why. Ultimately, the most important thing to Dr. Terry and me on these trips is that you go on the trip, that you're there, that you make the commitment, that you're intentional about it, that you somehow orient your life to make it possible, if you can. So for us, let's try to finish this 24 hours together. And I'm trying to be both solemn and have gravitas, and also to recognize that we're okay. Even those of us that are very exposed, we're better off in community than not. So the prompt here is, I'm going to win this election by what? I'm going to win this election by what? What is going to make this a win for you that is not rooted in the election outcome? We have to have another dimension. We have to. All right. And if you want to say exactly what I'm saying, that's your call, whatever. But mine has already been said. I'm going to win this election, and I believe, are going to win this election. So let's make it a we. We are going to win this election by doing this together in community, knowing that we're going to show up again tomorrow. And I'm going to eat a lot of chocolate chip cookies along the way too, because that is a daily joy giver. Real talk. Okay. So that's my answer. And I'm going to just go around the Zoom room, ask you to share your answer. So we are going to win this election by what? Not talking about the election outcomes. This is not a cop-out. We are going to give everything we've got to genuinely win these elections. But we've got to have perspective on this. So I'm going to, Ivory, you're going to be next for me, and then Karen, and then Clock. Okay. So that's going to be the order here. So Ivory, Karen, and then Clock, and then Nikki. Okay. So Ivory, please.
Say the starter again. We believe, or
We're going to win this election.
we're going to win this election by not letting anything turn us around.
Thank you. Karen, and then Clock, and then Nikki.
By turning anxiety into action together, plus ice cream.
Okay. Ivory / Clock, Nikki, and then Helen. What is it? What is it? All right.
By shouting woohoo.
Okay. Okay, Nikki, and then Helen, and then Carmen.
We're going to win this election by keeping an eye on the prize and with lots of hugs.
That's great. That's great, Nikki. Thanks. Helen, Carmen, Roger.
We're going to win this election by keeping in touch with former colleagues like me with Luke Mitchner, fantastic, and strengthening connections with those that we've met here, staying healthy and being courageous.
Awesome. Carmen, Roger, Zelda.
We are going to win this election by remembering that we have a community to come back to anytime we need it. And by playing really great music.
Man, you fulfilled that the whole way here, Carmen. Thank you. Roger, and then Zelda, and then Donna.
Roger.
Roger, are you out? Okay, great.
Oh, there we go. We're going to win this election by supporting nonprofit groups like this one, community organizations. in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, etc.
That's great, because they need to be there after this. Yes. Zelda, Donna, Meg.
We will win this election by just remembering all the things that those that have gone before us, Fannie Lou Hamer and all of those, they put it all on the line, and that's what we're going to do. And that's how we're going to win this election.
Yes. Donna, Meg, Jacqueline, please.
We're gonna win this election by doing the work.
Great. Thank you. Meg, Jacqueline, Mark.
We're going to win this election. That was saying we're going to win this election by depending on our community and strengthening it through our commitment, each one of our commitments, and singing together.
Jacqueline, Mark, Deborah. Jacqueline, are you still out there? All right, we'll come back to Jacqueline and see if she's around. Mark, Deborah, Lily.
We're gonna win this election by praying with.
Love you.
I love you.
Hang on a second, Mark.
We're gonna win this election by praying with our feet, by getting on the bus, and by remembering those who came before us, including my dad, who taught me that politics is a noble and can be a noble profession.
Deborah, Lily, Celestria.
Well, I think we're going to win this election by doing all the work. Like I'm going to give everything I can to Montana and showing, I'm thinking my grandson, and showing others that we continue on no matter what the result is. Uh-oh. Did my sound go weird?
I don't know, go on mute. I think we're okay here. Lily, Celestria, Deborah.
We're gonna win this election by anchoring ourselves to our purpose and to one another.
Great, thanks, Lily. I'm looking for where that is and what that is.
Someone is unmuted, I think.
Deborah, can you mute, please?
Deborah Lester.
Yeah, no, I think she's frozen or something. Okay, she stepped out. Lily, could you say yours again, Lily, please?
Yeah, I said we're gonna win this election by anchoring by anchoring ourselves to our purpose and to one another.
Okay, terrific. Celestria, Pam, and then Karen.
We're going to win this election by supporting and encouraging our youth, because even though they can't vote at this election, they can vote at their next one or their state ones.
Awesome. Pam, Karen, and then Catherine.
Okay. So we're going to win this election together by reaching out to new voters, by talking with everybody we know, For me, that includes grandnieces and grandnephews, even though they're, under age 10. And getting plenty of sleep and walking every day.
All right. I like the way you're rolling. All right, Catherine, and then Shanita and Karen.
We're gonna win this election. First of all, I might just have to go back to Nevada after this 24 hours. And secondly, I think holding the big picture of love and justice that will not be turned back.
Great to see you, Catherine. Thank you. Shanita, Karen, and then Jesse. And I don't know what Kimu's doing exactly over there, but he's moving around. All right, Kimu?
Okay.
I
We're gonna win.
apologize. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Shanita, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We're going to win this election with a patriotic heart and lots of hugs from our CP family.
Shanita, awesome. Karen, and then Jesse.
We're going to win this election by building beloved community and practicing courage with love.
Thanks, Karen. Jesse, Lois, and then Simone.
We're going to win this election by grieving our losses together, learning and growing from that and moving on.
Lois and Randy, and then Judy.
We're going to win this election by not focusing on this temporary setback or low, but by keeping our eye on the prize and staying in for the long haul.
And we're going to win this election by getting young people involved and getting more people engaged in the issues and understanding what needs to be done.
Thank you both, Lois and Randy. Judy, and then Kimu, and then I got to switch screens.
We're going to win this election by working together and staying positive and voting.
Awesome. Thanks, Judy. Kimu.
We're going to win this election by telling the truth.
That's good. Okay, let's see here. Jody, and then Rita, and then Cammie. So Jody first. Are you out there, Jody?
Wait a minute.
Yep, there you go.
We're going to win this election by stretching ourselves in terms of our time and our treasure as far as we can, because this is a noble calling, and in our lifetimes, we won't ever have this much challenge again, I do not think. So I want to say that together, as common power always works, that everyone will stretch and we will be able to win the election.
Right. Simone, did we already have you? I can't remember. Rita, and then Cammie.
Hi. No, I didn't go yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna win this election by being in community and supporting one another.
Thanks, Simone. Rita, Cammie, and then Barbara. Rita, are you out there? Okay. Cammie, Barbara, and Carissa. Cammie, are you out there? Okay, Barbara, Carissa, and Marjorie.
We're gonna win this election by prayer and holding hands together.
Thank you, Barbara. Barbara, I have seen your balloon, the image of the balloon all the way through this Zoom. I mean, you may have been here the whole time, or at least your picture was. So wow. Carissa, Marjorie, and then phone for John.
We're gonna win this election by putting democracy first and sticking together.
That's right. Thanks, Chris. Marjorie, phone for John, and then Faye. All right, Marjorie, are you out there? Okay, and then John's just hopped off, so we're gonna go.
No, I'm here.
Oh, right
I'm
there,
here,
John.
David.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
there you go.
you moved on me, John.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That's all right. We're going to win this election and future elections by supporting the development of our young people and then following their lead.
Thanks, John. Okay, Faye, Susan, and Jeffrey.
We're going to win this election by making our way to Selma or do it virtually for the 60th anniversary of the March to Selma, Washington, and the signing of the Voting Rights Act in 2025.
Right. Back, I had to switch screens back over here. So Susan and then Jessica and no, I'm sorry, Jeffrey. Was it Susan and then Jeffrey and Jessica?
Okay, we're going to win this election by giving it all we've got together, reaching out to family, friends, and strangers near and far.
Great, thank you. Jeffrey and then Jessica and then Deborah. I can't remember if I got Deborah or not. Jeffrey, you're up.
So, you know, I have to say it in a poetic way. That's the only way for me to communicate this. So I feel like we're gonna win this election by igniting the flame of hope that we continue to build in these spaces, building on our hearts by weaving dreams with determination, and walking together toward a dawn of a newer era with unwavering faith and community and unity within all of us.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Jessica and then Deborah and then Floor.
Yeah, first I just have to say, Jeffrey, your words are so powerful and your poem before was just inspiring. So I think we're going to win this election by recognizing that this is only one step in an ongoing fight for democracy, and it all starts with individual interaction and personal experience.
Thanks, Jessica. Deborah, did we get you or not?
I think there were two Deborahs. So which Deborah?
You.
Okay, so we're going to win this election by doing the bit that we can do. For me, I'm going to work my ass off. Sorry, I'm not doing poetry. I'm being crude, but I'm working my ass off for Montana like I worked my ass off for Kansas. And like what happened in Kansas, I'm going to keep looking at the big, long arc that we're hoping justice really shows us we're going towards. And that's for my grandson and the younger folks, so we can show them what you do, that you work and you hang in there.
Thank you, Deborah. Floor and then Karen and Victoria. Floor, Julian, are you out there? Okay, Karen, and then trying to go back to nope, okay. Karen and then Victoria and then Luke.
You want me, Karen, David?
K-Dub.
Yeah, you didn't say K-Dub, so I was confused.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to win this election by taking all the things that we know and the things I know that I have learned from Common Power. And I don't want anything that I've learned to go to waste. And I personally want to make sure that I do my part in communicating, educating, and bringing awareness, especially to our youth who do have the right to vote now. And the ones like my daughter, who's never voted before, I want to make sure that she understands that her vote matters, and also educating people who think their vote doesn't matter and educating them as to why it does, and joining in community together.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see, Luke. No, I'm sorry, Victoria, and then Luke, and then Floor.
We are going to win this election by having some really difficult but meaningful conversations.
All right, thank you. Luke, and then Floor, if you're out there, and then Ty.
We are going to win this election by putting in the work together. Say bye. Thanks.
See you, Miles. Ty, and then I'm going to see if there's anybody I've missed, and then it will be Dr. Terry to close us up.
Hi. We are going to win this. We're going to win this election because all of us are doing this work. We're going to do it. I almost want to make a negative in that, but it's going to be a win because all of this work is a win. And as somebody said earlier, when you put the work in, you win. That's how you win. But it's not really going to be about who actually winds up the person that leads the country after the election. It's going to be about what we do with it, and we are winning now, and we're going to win then. And it's a long haul. And sorry about my dog. I'm just sure we're going to win. This is a winning formula. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. Thanks, Ty. Let's see. And then is that Maisie? Maisie said yes. All right. Floor, are you out there? And anybody else that I might have missed or didn't have the first time? Okay, I see that Charles has come in. Oh, Jacqueline, you're back. Great. Please, Jacqueline, you're up.
Yeah, I apologize. I was listening, but I was so far from the iPad with my headset on. I believe that we're going to win because the truth and love will always win. And we have to also remember that the elections are also won locally, to encourage those to vote locally.
Okay. Deborah, you're back too. Deborah. And Lori. Deborah and Lori. You're on mute right now, Deborah. Okay, we'll go Lori and Charles and Terry for sure. And then maybe Deborah's in the middle there. Lori?
So I'm hoping that for my 4-week-old grandson named Sonny, that we can make his life that SUNNY, Sonny, together.
Yep. Thanks, Lori. Deborah and Cammy. Cammy, maybe you're back. Deborah, are you there? Okay, Deborah, we're still having some issues there. Cammy, are you out there? Okay, I believe that I've got everybody except Charles, Douglas, and Terry. Scott. Charles, can you, and then Terry?
Hey, we're at the end of our staff meeting here at the same time, so I've got 2 screens on. And yeah, where's David at? I need to look him in the face here. Can I tell you something, man? Let me have a sidebar with you. I listened to the first half of this hour, and I was like, man, where is the hope? So let me tell you something different, and this is for everybody else listening. We don't need like sober realism right now, okay? I have been out and knocked on doors, and we've been to 11 states in the first 6 months of this year. I've been to probably 9 of them, 10 of them. The voters across this country are more sure that Joe Biden is and the Democrats are the way to go than anybody else. So I understand that there's a certain amount of like measure that's going on right now, and I understand that the stakes are high and things look shaky, but I think there's a real possibility that we went out. We went out completely. So I'm here to deliver that right now. I think that there's a real possibility that we get the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And then next year, we're going to be spending all that capital getting a new Voting Rights Act. There's a very, very real possibility. I think this is a slow moment, and it feels kind of weird right now. And it feels like things are in shambles or things are not at their best. But we are so far out from the election, y'all. Okay, so we don't need to figure out how awesome second place is today. I'm not selling that. And David, I know you're not either, man. I know you've just been up for 24 hours, and this is what happens when you've been up for 24 hours, is you start looking at the trees differently, and you start thinking about your life and the soul of America, and you get really poetic and everything. And I respect that, and I appreciate it. But that's why I wasn't here that whole time, so I can come back at the end and check on you and make sure that we end this the way we're supposed to. We're going to win. David, we're going to win, man. Okay? We're going to win because the people on this Zoom and the people that are in this meeting I'm supposed to be at right now are going to lead hundreds of people around the country this fall. Hundreds. You've already led 287 volunteers to knock on doors in 11 states this year. And we were the difference in a bunch of those races. Not we metaphorically. Common Power volunteers. We had 50 in Nevada, knocked on 3,400 doors, and some of those races were won by 800 votes. We got those people elected in the primary, the people you know. So this is not just a spiritual thing. This is not just something that is a feel-good thing. We know we win. We help people win in this country, and we're going to do so again this fall, damn it. And y'all are going to help us. Let's go. Get up, David. 1 minute left. You got 60 seconds left to earn your spot back. Let's go, man. Let's go. And I'm not even going to see it. I'm leaving. I'm going to end the staff meeting over here. Whatever you say here, I love you. I love you, man. I appreciate you for pulling this together. Carmen and Luke and Ivory, y'all are awesome. I will see you in the field. Let's go.
Thanks, Charles. Terry, you're still gonna go, but let me just respond to my executive
Heck yeah,
director.
go.
Okay. Yeah, you know why? Because I've journeyed with you all for 24 hours. And I have a responsibility to all of you. Two, we need to be here together today, and we need to be here together tomorrow. All right? And the reality is that we're going to do that together. I believe we might win the elections, and we'll give it everything we've got. That's what we're saying. And when Charles offered up metrics of what we're doing and why we're winning, that's what I'm saying too. You knock 287 volunteers is how we're going to win, by being a community. So I don't see this as cold realism. I see this as adjusting the perspective. That the perspective, as Charles preaches all the time, has to be on this election and everyone after it
Mhm.
too. So take that, Charles, who's not here. Right? Dr. Terry Ann Scott. My
Good
colleague,
one.
can you close up? My colleague. what do you say?
Yes. David, you kicked ass in the last 24 hours. You're up, and Ivory and Carmen and Luke. It's amazing you guys put this together. It's tough work, and you did it without sleeping. So, just bravo. We're going to win this election because multiple things. 600 people stood on a bridge as young as elementary school on March 7th, 1965, and faced down billy clubs and gas and were beaten, and they got back up, and they came back on the 9th, and they came back on the 21st, and they marched 54 miles to Montgomery. They were not stopped by what they encountered when so many people would have been stopped. They marched to Montgomery, and it led just a few months later to the Voting Rights Act of 1965, an undoubtedly monumental piece of legislation. If they can do that, we can do this. We're going to win this election because I know that everybody here is going to do something every single day, something that is within your abilities to do. You're going to knock on doors. You're going to call your friends. You're going to post something on social media. You're going to keep somebody informed about what's real and what's not real. You're going to have difficult conversations. We're all going to do something. I'm committing right now, as I have been doing and will continue to do something every single day. We're going to win this election because I know all of you are going to commit to doing something every single day that gets us closer and closer to victory. Why? Because if an 8-year-old child can stand on the Edmund Pettus Bridge and face what they faced, then we can do this. That's why we're going to win this election.
Drops mic.
Drop the mic. Okay. Drop the mic.